could theoretically be against the last three teams to eliminate them in the playoffs, being Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Miami, which is pretty wild too. So, but as you look at it, like, is this the team to beat for you? With what you saw against Brooklyn, what you expect against Milwaukee, looking at the teams that are remaining in the field, are the Celtics your betting favorite? Are they the championship, the number one championship contender, or is there a team that you like better?
There's not a team that I like better, but I want to see them play Milwaukee first. I want to see how they can handle the defending champs. That's
fair.
Yeah.
I'm with Mark. I think you got to knock the champ off before you start calling yourself the favorite. And when they have the best player in the world on it, I as much as, the betting public likes Boston, and I covered this last week on the show, I think Boston went from plus 750 to plus 3. What are they? 325 Kauffman. Yeah. Pretty unbelievable jump there. So if you got Boston in the first round prior to all the madness happening, you're probably looking pretty good right now. But yeah, I'm a big believer of, take the team that's done it before, despite the fact that, I'm a Celtics fan. We have a Celtics podcast. If I have to put my money on the line, I'm going to put my money on the guy that's done it before. That's Giannis. And to me, as you looked at, we talked about this like before the playoffs started, it was like, okay, if Boston gets past Brooklyn, which I was confident they would do, and I think, everybody is varying levels of confidence, that this would be the real like Eastern Conference Finals right here. Because Milwaukee is just such a different challenge than anybody else. And I'm not trying to talk down the Heat with Spoelstra and with the problem that Bam presents to Boston. And we've seen that in the playoff series before. There's just nobody like Giannis. There's nobody like him. Nothing that and the one thing I'm curious is how much does having Brad Stevens, the guy who's president of basketball operations, help Ime and this team? I don't know if this has been talked about, Mark. Maybe you can help me out on this, because I know Brad has probably done I'm staying away. I'm not the coach. It's not my job.
Right.
But like, if I'm Ime, I might want to pick Brad's brain about how they've done with Giannis in the past and what they try to do and what worked well. I mean, having that I don't know if it's been talked about, Mark. You can talk to us better than anybody else. But I think having Brad upstairs as a guy who's had some success against Giannis. Now, this team has eliminated the Bucks before. This is before Giannis has gone supernova and before Khris Middleton became he became. But they've had success. So I'm curious if anybody's asked that question around, has anybody talked to Brad about how to maybe handle this series? Because that could be a little X factor that nobody's talking about.
That's true. I mean, and I would think that, they've had that kind of conversation. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but one thing Ime talked about today is the fact that when he was on the staff in Brooklyn, he had to help coach against Giannis in a playoff series. When he was in Philly, knew him from there too. I mean, he does have experience against the guy, but no, you're right. I mean, Brad would be a tremendous resource for that.
Is he and I don't know. Maybe it's a dumb question. Is Brad as good, despite the success, and obviously the success in that position, is Brad as good a resource at this stage, at this point, after a full year and like where you are as a team, is he as good a resource on that as just the guys in his own locker room and, talking to Tatum and talking to Smart and talking to Brown and talking to Horford and these saying like, all right, you guys have been through it. You've been through the ringer. You faced him in the playoffs along with X number of times in the regular season. Like, what do you feel has worked? And obviously then you look at tape and you examine everything. You don't just take guys for their opinions, but does their word mean as much, if not more, than Brad's at this stage?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, this thing that Ime has started doing, talking to the players, letting them have a players only meeting, and then he comes in he gives them the issue, they discuss it, he comes back, and then he says, so what do you have for me? And they've really taken to that.